What is up, guys? Team Yu-Gi-Oh! Here with another deck profile, and today we actually have a first place deck profile from our local GOAT tournament, and I want you to go ahead and tell us what you're playing and what your first name is.
All right, my name is Alex, and today I was playing Pac-Man, the Degenerate deck.
Ooh.
So, to start off the deck profile, I play 3 copies of Golem Sentry. Golem Sentry is basically the beat stick for the deck. 800 is a big amount in GOAT format for sure, but the key part of the deck entirely is just bouncing and popping stuff, so having an 1800 booty is always nice. The next card we play is our 3 of Deslakuta. Deslakuta, if you can get 2 of it on board, is basically every turn a Pot of Greed, which is very nice, and I resolved multiple times throughout the tournament. Following that, we have 3 Swarm of Scarabs. This is the popper for the deck. It pops monsters. Following that is 3 Medusa Worm, which is pretty much the same exact thing as Swarm of Scarabs, just with a smaller booty. Then after that, we have our 2 of Swarm of Locust to help wipe out some back row. This was actually very helpful when I did see it, so I may actually bump it up to 3. Okay, moving on to the spell lineup. We have 1 Delinquent Duo. Fun fact about this, every single game that I saw this and resolved it, I ended up hitting BLS out of people's hands, and it feels good.
Very nice.
Following that, we have a Mystical Space Typhoon. Pretty obvious why that should be in there. A Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed, the duo. And then we do 2 Noblemen of Crossout to help wipe out the main GOAT decks within the format. Following that, we have 2 Level Limit Area B. You don't know how many people get annoyed when you play this down. I find it quite funny. And then to finish off, we do 3 Book of Moon, nice, just for the consistency and stalling of the deck.
Nice.
Moving on to the trap lineup, we have a Ring of Destruction. This actually came in clutch in game 2 because I ended up killing my opponent with burn, but then it also came back to bite me later in the tournament because the last round I got a draw because of it.
So you finished 3-0-1, correct?
Yes, I did. Following the Ring of Destruction, we do 2 Gravity Bind because, again, people just don't expect it, and there's not a lot of back row removal in GOAT, so it's always helpful to just have a lot of stall cards, and that's mainly what this deck does. After that, 3 Wall of Revealing Light. This card you pay increments of 1,000, then your opponent just can't Yu-Gi-Oh, which is always fun. Then there are 3 Wubuku. So, Wubuku or Wabuku, it can be swapped out with Threatening Roar. I prefer Wubuku just because if they, I don't know, I just find it to be a little bit better. Just the prevention of attack or attack destruction as well is always nice. Following up with that, 3 Compulse, because we want to just get rid of your opponent's monsters as quick as possible.
Yep.
And the funniest card, 3 Solemn Judgment. So, Solemn Judgment, it's funny to just Solemn Judgment a Solemn Judgment and keep going from there because your opponent wants to cry.
Usually.
So, yeah, usually. And now onto the side deck. We do not play an extra deck within this deck because there's nothing to really summon. So 1 Azure Priest for if you're versing a mainline GOAT deck just to wipe out their stuff.
Yep.
2 Kaiku to get rid of Chaos boards. 1 Swords of Revealing Light if you really need that stalling within there. A Heavy Storm to really get rid of, like, if you're versing a mirror match, get rid of their back row while you still have yours set up. 1 Snatch Steal for if you're versing, like, a beatdown deck, you could just steal their stuff. Surprisingly, Creature Swap came in clutch for me. So there was a person at our locals who was using Empty Jar, and Creature Swap, I managed to take their Cyber Jar and get over them for game because they could not resolve Empty Jar effects.
Nice.
So, and finally, onto the traps of the side deck. 1 Magical Cylinders, because it's funny to Magical Cylinders your opponent. The Mirror Force if your opponent is really getting out a big board and you can't get over it in game 1. 2 Dust Tornado to help wipe out the back row. And then I opted to side the Trap Dust Shoots. Most of the time, my deck wants to go first anyways, but I couldn't find room within the main deck for them for now. I can agree why people would want it in main deck, but personally with this list, I think it's better to have the stun cards than the dust shoots for now. If you know you're going first, it's better.
Absolutely. So, seeing we just basically wrapped up the deck profile, tell us your matchups. What did you play against?
So I think I versed 2 anti-meta warrior and a chaos within those matchups.
And then you played Empty Jar.
Yes, an empty jar was my other one, so it was a 4-round.
Okay, perfect. And you went 3-0-1, so you had 3 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw.
Yep.
What was your toughest matchup?
The toughest matchup was definitely empty jar, mainly because of just milling out my deck. There's not like an Ash Blossom for this format. There's nothing you can really use to get around that. So it was literally just stalling out and hoping he doesn't draw into what he can draw into.
Yep.
But yeah.
Perfect. Any final words, thoughts, shout-outs?
Shout out to Phil. He went 2-2, and it's his first time back in Yu-Gi-Oh! In a while. So good for him.
I think 2-2 is the best he's ever done in a tournament too. So
Probably.
perfect. Well, I appreciate the deck profile. I hope everyone else did too. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. If you want to see more GOAT videos, let me know, and we will post them as soon as possible. And for right now, this is Team Yugi Fails signing out.